These are the Masai giraffes. You can tell by looking at the spots on their coat. Kind of all different sizes, all different shapes. That's how you can tell by looking at their spots. Now, they are some of the tallest land mammals in the world. They can reach heights in adulthood of up to about 20 feet. Now, usually when they're born, they're about 6 feet tall. Now, these baby giraffes are about 6 to 8 weeks old. So they're probably right between the 7 and 8 feet tall.
Okay. I didn't even see that one.
And then there's one nice and close right here on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, can't stop for her. She's just a little bit too close. Now, most of the time when we see the giraffes, they are using their big, long, black tongues to trim the leaves off the branches. And their tongues can be up to about 18 inches in length, and they're black in color to keep them from getting sunburn out here.
Yeah.
Now, believe it or not, giraffes and humans, we do actually have one thing in common. We both actually have 7 vertebrae in our necks, although theirs are just a little bit bigger than ours. They can actually reach up to about 11 inches in length, which means that an adult giraffe's neck can be up to about 6 feet long.
That's right.
Now, once we get past these rocks up here on the left-hand side, we are going to have Monkey Point, which the drivers here we've nicknamed for the troop of mandrill monkeys that have colonized here. Now, a troop of mandrills usually consists of about 30 to 50 monkeys. They're some of the largest and most colorful monkeys in Africa. Now, if you see a really big, bright flash of blue through here, that is going to be the dominant male. He has that coloring on his face, as well as his hindquarters as well, so it's pretty easy to distinguish him. He also can weigh up to about 100 pounds. Now, the rest of the monkeys in the troop are usually females, and they usually only weigh about 30 pounds or so.
Right there.
Now, you can see there's one right between those trees on that top rock right there.
The big one's behind that bushes.
Is there? I don't see the big one over there.
He's behind the bushes.
Oh, is he behind the bush? Yeah, they're usually sitting under the bushes. Oh, no, there he is. Yeah, with that white on his face there. Good eyes there, folks. Now, usually they're sitting in groups. They're pretty social. They like to sit and groom each other. That's actually how they make friends. And get just a little bit of a snack as well. They'll usually eat the bugs that they find on each other's coats. I got a pretty good view of those mandrill monkeys here, folks. Hopefully pretty soon we're going to be getting a good view of some elephants, because Monkey Point, it does mark the edge of elephant country. Now, a lot of times when we see elephants out here, they do have lots of dried sand and mud on their backs. Elephants actually have pretty sensitive skin, so they will fling that sand or mud onto themselves when it's wet. And then once it dries, it does act as a natural sunscreen for them. It also protects them from parasites, other insects, as well as keeping them cool as well. Now, another way that elephants keep themselves cool is just by flapping their ears. Now, African elephants have pretty big ears. That's one of the ways you can tell them from Asian elephants. Just by flapping those ears, they can cool themselves up to about 15 to 20 degrees. Now, if I remember correctly, elephant country, it should be just around this corner here, folks. Hopefully we'll see lots and lots of other elephants. Ooh, but first it looks like we are going to have to get across this rickety old bridge. Now, I know we have had problems with this bridge in the past, but I think if I go pulley-pulley, we should be okay. Everybody just cross your fingers and toes for me here. A little bit of extra luck couldn't hurt. Ooh, that doesn't sound very good. Alright, well, we're almost there, folks. Almost there. Alright, hold on, bridge. Hold on. Phew. Alright, well, thanks, everybody, for crossing your fingers and toes for me. I think that was just a little bit of extra luck we may have needed to get across that bridge safe and sound. Now, it does look like we have made it to elephant country, folks. You can see all this red clay here on either side of the road, all the tusk marks in it. Now, elephants, they will actually eat that red clay. They get vital nutrients from it they wouldn't get from their regular diet. Now, unfortunately, one of the greatest threats to elephant populations is actually humans. A lot of times they are poached for the ivory in their tusks, very popular on black markets. But they are also facing habitat loss as well, most of the time from farmers encroaching on their territory. Now, by studying the elephants who live here, we have actually learned that elephants, they don't like bees very much.
Ooh.
So a lot of farmers out here in Africa, they have recently started using beehive fences to keep elephants away from their crops. And then as an added bonus, they can harvest all that honey, make just a little bit of extra money, all while keeping these animals safe.
There's elephants in one of those trees.
Here. Most of them are hiding in the shade there. Remember, they do have some pretty sensitive skin. You might see them flinging that sand or mud onto themselves as well to keep cool. You can see that elephant using their trunk to eat that grass there. Elephants' trunks are actually very, very versatile. They kind of use them like we would an arm. They're actually an extension of their nose and a combination of their upper lip as well. Has about 100,000 muscles in it, as well as those two finger-like projections right at the end, perfect for grabbing onto those grasses, sometimes that mud, and also drinking water as well. They'll suck water up into that trunk and then deposit it into their mouths for drinking. Now, an adult male elephant can actually hold up to about 9 liters of water in their trunk. Looks like we also have some greater flamingos over here on this strangely shaped island to the left-hand side. Now these are actually the largest and the lightest pink of all the flamingo species. And they get that coloring from the brine shrimp that they eat. It's very rich in beta-carotene. That is actually what turns all of those feathers pink. Now when flamingos are first born, they are actually gray in color. It usually does take about a year and a half of eating all that brine shrimp to turn their feathers completely pink. There's one more elephant hiding out in the shade back there, flapping their ears, keeping cool. Antelopes right straight up ahead of us here, folks. They are going to be on the left-hand side. You can see them through the bushes here. Just going to get just past here. Good to see them. These are actually called addax. Oh, actually, it looks like there's just the one. I thought there was going to be more than one. Now, the addax is actually a desert antelope. They get the majority of the moisture they need from the vegetation they eat, so they can actually go their entire lives without taking a single drink of water if they need to. He was going to cross the road. See on either side. Now you can see they look pretty light in color right now. Oh, everybody's got to stay seated for me, please. Go and take a seat for me, please. But actually during those cooler winter months, they will get just a little bit darker. It does help with thermoregulation, keeps them just a little bit warmer in those cooler months. And I may have just driven past it, but if you look under the bushes, there's a white rhino over there. Yeah, I may have driven past it. For some of you, I thought it was a rock. Just barely see it there. Yeah, if you see that, what it looks like, kind of a lump of clay right there through the trees, that is a white rhino there.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not a great view. Hopefully we'll come around and they'll decide to come out of the bushes. We'll get to see them a little bit better. Now we also need to keep an eye out for cheetahs over here on the left-hand side.
Where's the cheetah? There's the cheetah. There's the cheetah, honey. See him?
Under the tree.
Under the tree, way back there.
If you look back. Yeah, if you look back right by the trees, there's actually 2 of them right there. Kind of tough to see, but that's actually good for cheetahs because they're daytime hunters. They're not nocturnal, like most other large cats. Now, they are some of the fastest land mammals in the world. They can reach top speeds of up to about 70 miles an hour. They are sprinters. They can only maintain that pace for a couple hundred yards without overheating. Looks like if you look right between the bushes, an even tougher view here, there's actually one sitting right between those 2 bushes right there.
Oh, see him, honey?
Yeah, kind of
see the
spots. Now this rock formation over here on the left-hand side, this is called a kopie. And a lot of times lions, they do like to use this. They get a really good vantage point to watch out over the savanna for prey. Now it's actually the female lions that do the majority of the hunting, not the males. They do that hunting at night, and then the rest of the time, about 18 to 20 hours during the day, lions are usually pretty inactive, so we don't always get to see them. If we do, they're usually not doing much. Now, unfortunately, lions, they do like to hunt livestock out here in Africa. Of course, hunting fenced animals is going to be a little bit easier than hunting wild animals. Like the addax you can see over here again, and the bontebok all the way out there, those brown antelopes. Now, in order to solve that lion livestock problem, we are actually working with farmers to build living fences, which are basically just chain link fences combined with really big thorny trees and bushes to keep those lions away from the livestock. That way the animals, they are safe from each other, and those lions, they are safe from the farmers as well. Doesn't look like we are having much luck on those lions, so we're going to keep on going here, get a little bit better view of those bontebok. But first, it looks like we are going to get a good view of a warthog. Right over here on the left-hand side, you can see it. Now you can just see those tusks. They actually use those tusks in their snouts to dig all these burrows you can see here. They're actually one of the largest burrowing animals in Africa. Now once they have those burrows dug, they'll actually sleep in them backwards. Try and show those tusks off. They're actually very sharp, so they kind of want to show them off to predators, try and scare them away. And we also have this bontebok over here. On the right-hand side, there's actually two of them, as well as another view of those addax. Now, the bontebok is actually a relative of the wildebeest, those gray animals we saw hiding under the bushes in the savannah. Unfortunately, though, these animals are only found on wildlife reserves like this one. Unfortunately, poachers kind of like their fur coats. Sometimes if the light hits them just right, they can actually look almost purple in color. The good news is they're actually doing very, very successfully out here on reserves like this one. Now here we are entering the Magadi Glen here, folks, one of the newest areas out here on the reserve. If you look right straight ahead of us here, going to be on the left-hand side, we have a scimitar horned oryx. You can see the horns that they carry there. They may be up to about 4 feet long. That's actually how they got their name. Those horns are the same shape of the Middle Eastern sword of the same name. Now those horns are pretty brittle, so they're not really used for anything but decoration. And this is actually a desert antelope. They can't go quite as long as the addax without taking a drink of water, but still very long periods of time. And they can also raise their body temperatures up to about 116 degrees to keep from losing water from sweating. Well, folks, it does look like we have come to the end of our safari together today at the Harambe Wildlife